Release the Kraken!
Welcome back, fellow game designers. In our last video, we went ahead and made the torso for Leon. And this one we're going to go tackle the leg. So let's dive right in. We're going to save our project. So save as. And this is going to be 3 for the next iteration. That way if we mess up, we always have our torso. And for the leg, we're going to start off with a cylinder. And I'll just move that into position right about there. And then we need about 8 subdivisions on that. So I'll go to my channel box, poly cylinder, drop that down to 8 subdivisions. And let's go to the front view. Now, Leon's legs do kind of come out at an angle. That's not really ideal because that angle can pose an issue for later. So I'm going to build the legs straight, but I'm going to try to incorporate the shape of the pants and stuff. So I'm going to make the height. Actually, I'll just do the radius. Let's take that radius and I'll just middle mouse drag that out. I think that's good. And then I'm not going to do anything with the height. In fact, I'm just going to go ahead and get my vertex mode by right-clicking. And I will take the bottom half and I will turn symmetry off because I'm only working on one side of the body at this point. Then I'll just drag this all the way down to the shoe. And I'm going to go to the edge of the line there. Okay. And I'll bring this up a bit more. Okay. So I'll get my scale tool and I'll use middle scale. Since this is a leg, we're going to pretty much be using the middle scale. Left and right scale we're going to leave alone because we want this to be a consistent roundness. Legs are a little bit flat on the side, but most of the time it's going to be round. So I'm just going to bail that out a little bit. I'm going to come down to the ankle here and I'm going to tighten this in about where the ankle is going to be. Now again, I'm not going to the exact shape of this because Leon's leg does come out at an angle and that will pose a problem for us when we start rigging. So I'm just going to build it straight here. From here, I'm going to grab my multi-cut tool. And so I'm going to split about where that knee is. I think that's good. And I'll go to my side view. Now let's take a look here. That looks pretty good. From the side, I will move the ankle back. So I'm going to come back a little bit. I'm not going to go to the full distance of the leg here. Again, his leg is going really far back, but I do want to have that bend in it. And then for the knee, I'll pull that back just a little. And then for the ankle, I think I will pull that back. So I'm going to come in, I'm going to cut about where the ankle is. And then Q to turn my tool off, grab the vertices, and I will move this kind of like that. Straighten these off here. Now, if that bothers you, you can most certainly go into object mode and move the leg back to match the shape. You can see how I'm just kind of visually capturing this shape. Eventually we're going to move the leg forward again to where it was. So that's why I'm like, since I know I have to move it forward, that's what I'm doing. You could also build off of this back leg here because that one's pretty straight. It's just not long enough to reach the ground. So it doesn't really matter which one you use as long as you know what you're doing and why. But this is the rough shape of that leg here. So that pretty much matches this. Okay, I'm going to come into my front view here, and I am going to kind of squish the leg a little bit. So I'll get my left and right scale, and I will do a little bit of compression just to make it less round. That way it's kind of round but slightly elongated, kind of like this, but not super squished. But I think that's good there. And now I need to build the section for the boot. So I'm going to come into my multi-cut tool. I'm going to cut right around where I think the boot is going to start. So the boot probably starts right about here. and I'm just eyeballing. You can see this kind of curves in, and then right down here is about where the foot would be, and then it tapers into the boot. And if I go into the side view, we can kind of see that here. So this kind of comes in, and then it tapers and becomes the boot here. So his boot is at an angle, so I have to plan for that. So what I'm going to do is cut in the heel back here. So I'll just cut in the heel like that, or the sole. And then I will take the front faces of the leg here. Come here. Let's go into face selection. And I'll get these faces. You hit F to frame on that. And I actually want to get this face and that face as well. So those four. And I'm going to use the extrude tool. So I hit extrude. I'll hit W to make a straight arrow, and I'll just pull that out. And I'm going to pull that out to about the distance of the boot. And now we're going to have to start shaping this down. So I'll go into vertex, grab these, and I'll pull this down to about where the top of the toe is. And I'll grab this, I'll move this back, move that back to kind of get in line with this. I'll pull these back a little bit. And then this, let's make an adjustment. I'll pull this back to the toe. And I'm not going to follow the curvature on the sole here. That probably won't be a good idea. Let me go into my perspective view and take a look. That's kind of round, but I need to widen this. So I'm going to take those, get my scale tool. So I'll do a left and right scale. So I'll just pull that out. That looks pretty good. I need to cut across the boot so that I can get this sole. So I'm going to go into here, get my multi-cut tool. I'm going to cut right across the boot here. Okay, that's going to give me the ability to adjust these. So I'll take some of this, I'm just going to move them out. I'll move these kind of out, and we'll refine this shape a little bit. And I'm just spacing out these vertices here. I'm using the marquee drag select because that actually gets two vertices, one on each side here. And I'm just kind of spacing out. You can see how we're creating that shape here. And I can take this one and kind of pull it back. And then for the sole, I'll come under here, go to face selection, and I will just grab these. I'm holding shift as I grab those. And then I'll hit extrude. W to get a straight line, and I will then hold down the X key as I drag the arrow down, and that's going to give me the sole. Nice. Okay, and then on this heel, it is kind of round. We want this to be flat here, kind of like this, right? We want the opposite of that. To do that, I think what I'm going to do is create an edge loop that goes around here. So I'll grab this, and I'll use Control. And let me get a better angle here. Use Control, I'll put this about there. And then inside of here, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to extrude these down, but I can't have these faces here. So I'm going to grab this, this one, and this one. Delete. So I have a hole. I'm also going to get rid of these corners. So I'll go into Edge mode. I'll get rid of this corner, this one, and this one. Okay, and I take this. So face mode. This, and that. We will extrude. Now I'll hit W and then pull down. So I'll use V to snap to here. Okay. And you can see how there's a bit of a gap there. But more importantly, if I pull this forward, you can see that there are some back faces on here. So those back faces have to go. So this one, that one, and that one have to go in order for me to close this gap. So I have to select those four faces and just make sure that's a clean hole. Okay. And then I'm going to sew this together. So I'll get my target weld tool, and then I will sew these. I'll grab this one, whoops, that one to there, and just watch your angle. This one to here, this one to here, that one to there, this one to here. And now I'm going to take this vertex group, this one, and this one. I'll move them back, and I will flatten them off using scale. Let me grab these 4 faces in front. This one, that one, that one, and that one. I'm going to flatten them off using scale, and I will move them back. Now, an area we should fix, of course, is to take this edge all the way across. I'll get my multi-cut tool, and I'll take this corner, and I'll go all the way to this corner, and then I'll right-click to solve that, and that's going to let us flex our toe. Okay. I do also want to go across the top of the foot here. So I take the multi-cut tool, and I will cut across the top of the foot, like so. That'll allow us to flex here. And then I do want to put one more slice like over the top of the foot here. So right about here. That'll allow this part of the foot to flex. And then right here, so all you gotta do is split this. I'll take this edge to here, and suddenly it's not a triangle anymore. You can see it's actually a quad. 1, 2, 3, 4. And if I were to go into edge mode and pull these out just a little, I have now rounded that off. See that? And I can do that again on this side. So I can take this one, and then this one. And I can pull this out a little bit, pull it forward, and now I've rounded that off. And I can adjust this middle to round this off. And voila, we have the boot. Okay. So when I go back up, and let's go ahead and attach this to the leg. So I'm going to go and get my multi-cut tool. I'm going to put a cut right about here. We're going to need it. And while we're at it, actually, we're going to put a cut just above the knee and just below the knee. We're going to need those. And I'll do a cut here and here. This will allow that boot to flex. Okay. We don't really have to worry too much about here. This isn't really where an ankle is. Your ankle's further down. That's just the angle of the boot there. Okay. So to attach the leg, I'm going to go into face selection. Make sure I'm saving as I go. Maya does crash. Go ahead and grab these top faces here. Pro tip, if you hold down the tab key and just click and drag, you can multi-select. It's pretty handy. I'm going to hit delete to open that up. Now I want to sew this to the body. So I'll grab that, go into object mode, grab this, make sure they're both in object mode, and before I sew it, actually, you can see that this is not forward. So let me go into my side view here. And I'm going to take the leg, get my move tool, and I'm going to move it forward again. And actually, if I just set the Z amount to 0, that should put it about where I need it. So Z, 0, and I'll just guide it back just a tad there. That looks good. I'm going to come down, and I will fix this little angle on the leg. So vertex selection, I'll grab the whole boot here, and I'll just move that forward so it's not as extreme of a bend. I think that's good. Okay. And let's go ahead and sew this on. So I'll grab this, make sure you're in object mode, grab that. Go up to combine. That's this little icon right here, or you can go to mesh and then combine. Now these two have been bound, but you need to sew them. So to make that sewing happen, I'm going to go grab my target weld tool here, and we're going to sew. I'm going to go from here up. Now make sure you're going in a consistent pattern. If I start with the leg, I'm going to always move the leg to the body. If I go from the body to the leg, I always want to move the body to the leg. So usually it's better to go from the leg to the body, which is the way I'm going to go. And I'm going to start with the inside. So here to there. Okay. I'll start with the back from here to there. And then we're going to go to the corner like that. This one to there. That to here. If you mess up, Control Z and go back. This one to there. I'm going to take this inside one, this one to here. And then lastly, this to there. So now we have the leg connected. Okay. I'm going to go into vertex mode, and I'll just take out some of this weird shape on the hip. So to do that, I'm going to take these vertices here. You can see how it just kind of bows out to the leg. So just kind of pull this out, sort of massage around to get a desired shape here. So up in here, let's pull these down. Pull that down and out. I think I'll take these in some, just to straighten off the angle of that leg. Okay, so there's Leon's leg attached. You might be like, well, what about the other leg? Well, we're actually going to cheat. So I'm going to go ahead and clear off the history, delete by type history, and we'll save. And now we're going to duplicate the other half. So I'm going to go into front view here. And to cut the body in half, I'm going to go into face mode, and I'm going to just do a drag select over the left half of the body here. Make sure you have it selected all the way through with nothing extra. So it should just be that side. Looks good. Delete it. Okay. I'm going to take this, go up to mesh, come down to mirror, get the box. And we want to set this, we'll turn off cut geometry. We'll do copy. We'll set this to world. We'll be on the x-axis because we're facing down the z-axis, so our left and right's going to be x. We do want to combine with original, merge border edges. We can leave this automatic, I think that's fine, and then hit mirror. And now we have the other half. And we can test to make sure everything's combined. Go into vertex selection, grab the middle of something, and then pull it. If it doesn't split, you're good. If it does split, select the whole thing and go up to edit mesh and then use merge. And that should close any gaps if they're overlapping. But there we go. We have his legs attached. And yeah, I think that's good for now. And the next one, we will build the arms. So save your work, and I shall see you next time. Hey guys, thank you for checking out my channel. Misty and I both thank you. If you enjoyed that video you just watched, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe. Or if you want to support the channel, check me out on Patreon or pick up one of my books, Life and Times of Dinah Marton or The Guardian's Path of Ascension. Speaking of which, I'm converting The Guardians into a graphic novel / comic book series. Here is a sneak peek. My wonderful artist, Patrick, is doing a great job. I'm excited. I want to push this out as soon as possible. So definitely keep your ears and eyes open for that. I'll be making announcements as we get closer, and I'll post some shots of that as we go. And if you want to follow me on social media, you can check me out on Twitter. I guess now it's X. Who does that? It's BruceRF1 at Twitter, or at whatever the new thing for Twitter is. Anyway, hopefully see you there, and I'll see you guys next time.